freedom, an idea that has sparked many wars and inspired many men to become heroes. Black people specifically have been fighting for their freedom for centuries and in many different forms. The Book of Negroes is a list of Negroes that sided with the British during the colonial wars in order to gain their freedom from the American colonies. Let's take a closer look.
Today's topic, the Book of Negroes. In 1775, Virginia's British Governor John Murray, the 4th Earl of Dunmore, received information that Virginia colonists had formed armies and were fighting British troops. In November of that year, he issued a proclamation that Virginia was in a state of rebellion and placed the colony under martial law. Another section of that proclamation offered freedom to slaves who were willing to fight for the King of England. This proclamation caused anger amongst the prominent revolutionary leaders in the newly forming government, many of whom were slaveholders, fearing Britain was inciting the slaves to rebellion. Even some of Thomas Jefferson's and George Washington's slaves joined Lord Dunmore. 3,000 in Virginia joined Lord Dunmore's army, and eventually over 50,000 of escaped slaves, servants, and even some freemen went on to fight on the side of the British forces. When the United States won their independence from Britain, a peace treaty was negotiated in 1783 called the Treaty of Peace or the Treaty of Paris. As part of the treaty, the British were to leave the United States and return all Negroes and other American property. However, a negotiation was made that those Negroes who were already manumitted with the British were entitled to removal with the British forces. Washington allowed it if slaveholders were compensated. So a list was compiled of 3,000 names of people who could prove their service to the British, which came to be called the Book of Negroes. These people received signed passes to leave New York and to board British ships going to Nova Scotia with other British Loyalist refugees. Isn't it ironic that while Americans were fighting for their freedom from the British, that the slaves in America looked to Britain for their freedom?
So before we go, we'd like to thank everybody for checking this special edition of An American Deception. Our moment series are up on our YouTube page. So again, if you're interested in reviewing any of these, please visit our YouTube page where you'll be able to, take a look at it, pause, rewind, or maybe even send us some ideas of something that you might want us to put together. Before we go, we have two other moments that we would like to share with you: blood identity and current events. And in these, we just want to ask the question, who are you? Do not allow anyone else to tell you who you are. You have enough in you to find out who your family was yourself. Do your family history. Do your family tree. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Today's topic is blood and Native identity. In 1897, the Smithsonian Institute's Bureau of American Ethnology wrote in its annual report that, and I quote, "The blood of the Southern Negro is unquestionably Indian," end quote. The Bureau, whose focus was on North American Indian cultures, was established in 1879 by Congress. According to the Bureau, and I quote the full quote, "As the coast tribes dwindled, they were compelled to associate and intermarry with Negroes until they finally lost their identity and were classed with that race, so that a considerable portion of the blood of the Southern Negro is unquestionably Indian," end quote. So you may ask, if it was known that the blood of Southern Negroes was unquestionably Indian, and Indian blood is what defines who an American Indian is, why is it difficult for dark-skinned people to claim their native identity? The answer lies in colonial laws, which made slave blood negate Indian blood. Greetings, and welcome to Indeed's Moments in Indigenous Education, which focuses on historical facts which have been omitted or forgotten. Please join us for today's topic. Today's topic, current events. Relevant in these times more than any in the past 100 years is the question of the dark-skinned native. With just one search, a vast spectrum of seemingly unrelated information appears on the internet. For people interested in investigating the dark-skinned Native American, due diligence is prudent indeed. As you investigate these people of color, you will be able to find citations, archaeological evidence, government reports, and statistical data verification. Yet the thought that will appear in most people's minds will lie in the question of the existence of the dark-skinned native. It is not our desire, nor would it be to our benefit, to propagate a theory that all black people in the United States are Native Americans. We also are not interested in theories which state all black people are African American. To the contrary, this would violate one of our fundamental rights of self-identification. We here at Indigenous Education concentrate our efforts on programs which outline facts, events, individual relationships, and statistical data in a format that offer omitted facts and an alternative perspective of important historical facts. By providing a wider perspective, one will have the opportunity to view how these important moments shape the way we view ourselves and perceive others. With this information, we hope to inspire others to research your family history, to better understand your identity, and protect the integrity of your ancestry. You have just finished watching Indeed's Moments in Indigenous History. Please join us next time. Peace.